You weren't meant to be here. Not because you're chosen or gifted or somehow above the rest, but because the doorway you walked through is invisible to nearly everyone. Most people live their entire lives just inches away from it, never sensing its presence, never feeling the subtle shift in the air that marks the boundary between sleep and waking. They move through decades like ghosts in their own lives, reacting, resisting, hoping the world will someday make sense for them. But you crossed over. Maybe it happened in a quiet moment of grief, maybe during a burst of inexplicable joy, or maybe it was so gradual you only noticed it in hindsight, like waking up one morning and realizing the old map no longer fits the terrain. But here you are, and now that your eyes are open, you can't pretend the world works the way you were once told it did. Let's be clear, awakening doesn't make life easier. It won't magically erase your bills, heal your heartbreak, or hand you success wrapped in ribbons. In fact, sometimes it makes things harder, because now you see the illusions everyone else is still sleepwalking through. But what changes isn't your circumstances, it's your relationship to them. You stop being the leaf tossed by the storm and become the river itself. No longer separate from the flow, but of it. You begin to sense that every event, every encounter, every unexpected turn isn't just happening to you, it's moving through you, shaped by the energy you carry within. That shift may be silent. It may feel like nothing at all in the moment, but it rewires your entire experience of being alive. And once you've tasted that knowing, you can never go back to blind reaction. Most people spend their lives waiting for a dramatic sign, a lightning bolt of truth, a voice in the dark, a moment so undeniable it shatters their old identity in an instant. But real transformation rarely arrives with fanfare. It doesn't crash through your door, it slips in through the cracks, in your attention. It's the sudden clarity you feel while washing dishes, the deep breath you take in traffic that somehow changes everything, the way a single sentence in a book lands in your chest, like it was written just for you. Awakening isn't about destruction, it's about reorientation. The world stays the same, but now you see it through eyes that understand. You are not a spectator. You are a participant, a co-author, a living, breathing conduit through which consciousness expresses itself in form. Think back. How many years did you live on autopilot? How many mornings did you wake up already braced for the day's demands, already replaying yesterday's regrets? How many conversations did you have while your mind was somewhere else, lost in worry, fantasy, or resentment? You moved through relationships, like a character following a script you didn't write, triggered by the same old wounds, repeating patterns you swore you'd break. And all the while, you believed this was just how life is. That's the default setting for most of humanity, waiting for external conditions to align, waiting for the perfect partner, the dream job, the financial breakthrough before they'll allow themselves to feel peace, worth, or joy. But you've begun to see the trap in that logic. Because peace isn't found out there. It's generated in here, in the quiet space between your thoughts, in the breath beneath your fear. And you've touched the deeper truth. You are not separate from your reality. You are the source, the broadcast tower, the frequency that the universe mirrors back with perfect precision. Here's what no school, no news channel, no mainstream narrative will ever tell you. Life is not random. It's not a chaotic lottery of good and bad fortune. It's an intelligent, responsive system, a mirror held up to your inner world with unwavering honesty. The argument with your co-worker, the missed opportunity, the sudden abundance that appeared from nowhere. None of it is accidental. Every single experience is a reflection, real-time feedback on the signal you're emitting from your nervous system, your heart, your subconscious mind. The moment you truly absorb this, not as a theory, but as a lived truth, the illusion of victimhood collapses like a house of cards. You are not being punished. You are not unlucky. You are in a dynamic, intimate conversation with existence itself, and it is always listening. But here's where even the awakened get stuck. They hear this truth and say, yes, I am the creator of my reality. Then 5 minutes later, they're spiraling in anxiety over a text they didn't get, or tightening their chest at the thought of an uncertain future. Why? Because knowing with your mind is not the same as knowing with your body. You can believe in abundance intellectually, while your cells are vibrating with scarcity. You can recite affirmations while your breath stays shallow and your shoulders stay locked. That's the gap between understanding and embodiment. And bridging it isn't about trying harder, it's about dropping deeper. So how do you cross that bridge? It begins with the most underestimated tool you possess: silence. Not just the quiet of an empty room, but the stillness that comes when you stop feeding the noise in your head. Those looping thoughts, they're not wisdom, they're static, interference scrambling the clear signal your soul is trying to send. Every what if, every replay of old pain, every internal argument with someone who isn't even there, it all creates energetic distortion. But the moment you pause, truly pause, and let the mental storm settle, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see the threads, the invisible lines connecting events that once seemed unrelated. That job loss 6 months ago? It led you to the course that connected you to the person who just offered you a new path. The heartbreak. It cleared space for a version of love you couldn't have received before. Nothing is random. Everything is woven together by the frequency you carry and the stories you've unconsciously agreed to believe. And when those patterns come into focus, blame loses its power. That same dynamic keeps showing up in your relationships. Different faces, same feeling of being unseen or abandoned. Most people curse their luck. Why does this keep happening to me? But you've learned to ask a different question. What unresolved part of me is calling this in? Because that pattern isn't your punishment. It's your teacher, a mirror held up by life saying, look here, there's something inside you that still believes it's not safe to be loved, not worthy to be chosen. And that realization, gentle, not shaming, is the beginning of true freedom. The moment you stop trying to change everyone around you and instead turn your attention inward to shift your own vibration, reality begins to rearrange itself, not through force, not through manipulation, but through resonance. You stop matching the frequency of lack, fear, or unworthiness, and suddenly, those experiences no longer have a home in your field. They fall away like old skins, and in their place, new possibilities bloom, not because you chased them, but because you became a match for them. You didn't change the world, you changed your signal, and the world, being the perfect mirror it is, had no choice but to reflect the new you. You are not sitting in a dark theater watching a movie you can't control. You are the projector, the light source. The film running through your being is made of your deepest beliefs about yourself, about love, about what's possible. Your emotional state sets the tone, warm and golden, or cold and shadowed. Your thoughts? They're the voiceover, commenting, interpreting, sometimes distorting the scene. And if you don't like what's playing on the screen of your life, screaming at the images won't help. You must go to the source. Rewind the reel. Replace the story with one that serves the truth of who you are becoming. That's uncomfortable. It asks you to take radical responsibility, not for the pain that was done to you, but for the way you've carried it, interpreted it, and let it shape your present. It's easier to stay a victim, easier to point fingers, easier to say the world is unfair, but you cross the line. And on this side, the light is too bright for those old stories to hold. You see now, power was always yours. You just forgot. Your frequency isn't mystical. It's biological, emotional, neurological. It's the energy humming in your cells right now. And this frequency doesn't just attract, it filters perception itself. When you're in fear, your amygdala lights up, your vision narrows, your body tenses. You literally cannot see the open door beside you because your system is only scanning for threats. But shift your state, even slightly, toward curiosity, calm or trust, and your nervous system relaxes. Your field of awareness expands. Suddenly you notice the kind stranger, the unexpected email, the idea that's been waiting in the wings. Nothing in the external world changed. You did. And that's the only thing that ever needs to. That's why people say their life changed overnight. It didn't. They simply cleared enough internal noise to finally receive what had been available all along. Your emotions aren't flaws, they're data streams, real-time updates from your body about the frequency you're tuned into. That tightness in your chest? It's not just stress. It's a signal. You're broadcasting fear. That lightness in your step. You're aligned with trust. And your core beliefs? They're not eternal truths. They're old programs, often downloaded before you were 10 years old, running silently in your subconscious. If your life feels like it's glitching, repeating the same problems, attracting the same pain, don't keep banging on the screen. Go to the source code, update the belief, rewrite the script. Most manifestation fails because people speak abundance with their lips while their nervous system screams scarcity. They visualize wealth while their body holds the memory of lack. The universe doesn't listen to your words, it reads your vibration. True creation begins when your entire being aligns, your breath slow and deep, your posture open, your heart soft, your mind clear. When every layer of you resonates with the same frequency, that's when reality responds. Not because you demanded it, but because you became it. This path demands courage. It asks you to face the shadows you've avoided, the inherited trauma, the unspoken grief, the silent contracts you made with yourself long ago. If I'm small, I'll be safe. If I don't hope, I won't be disappointed. But discomfort isn't your enemy. It's the birth canal of transformation. Walk through it. Start right now. Wherever you are, take a slow breath in and out. Now scan your body, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Where is there tension? In your jaw? Your shoulders? Your belly? Where is there ease? Don't try to fix it, just feel it. Your body is always speaking, long before your mind catches up. Most people ignore these whispers until the message becomes a scream, a breakdown, a burnout, a life-altering crisis. But if you learn to listen at the level of sensation, you can shift your frequency before it manifests as fate. You intercept the signal at the source and never resist a low state. Resistance is like pouring gasoline on fire. Instead, soften. Place a hand on your heart. Breathe into the feeling. Whisper gently, I see you, I feel you, and it's okay. That act of loving allowance, without resistance, without story, dissolves the charge. That's how you transform pain, not by escaping it, but by being present with it until it moves through you like a wave. As you practice this, something profound happens. The chaos settles. The spinning slows. Old patterns lose their grip, not because you fought them, but because you stopped energizing them. You changed the signal, and without that frequency to feed on, the pattern simply fades. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Only this moment is real. Only the frequency you hold right now shapes what comes next. You don't need a perfect plan. Just the willingness to be conscious, to choose in this breath, the inner state that aligns with the life you desire. Goals don't move the universe. Frequency does. You can write 100 vision boards, but if your body is locked in survival mode, that's the reality you'll manifest. Alignment isn't about positive thinking. It's about embodied coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, physiology, and beliefs all sing the same song. This journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unbecoming everything that's not you. The masks you wore to belong, the fears you inherited, the identities you borrowed to feel safe. Layer by layer, you strip away the noise until only your true signal remains. Clear, strong, and unmistakably yours. And you don't need to be fully healed to begin. You just need to be willing to show up again and again with awareness, with courage, with kindness toward yourself. You were never broken. You were never flawed. You were simply broadcasting someone else's frequency, your family's anxiety, your culture's limits, your past's pain. But now you know. And with that knowing comes the ultimate power, the power to choose your own signal, to stand in your truth, to live not as a receiver of life, but as its source. This truth is dangerous, not because it's secret, but because it makes you ungovernable. A population that knows it co-creates reality cannot be controlled by fear, debt, or division. That's why this wisdom is hidden in plain sight, in ancient texts, in quiet moments, in the space between breaths. But you found it anyway. So now the question isn't whether you believe it. The question is, will you live it? Because you are not the receiver. You are the signal, and reality, it's always listening,